And we're in the studio today with Jeffrey Benich, CEO of Aleafia. How are you doing?
Great. Thanks for having me, and
Absolutely.
Good job on the Croatian.
Yeah, we were testing that a few times. I know that I have to say the C in a certain way. But we brought you down to the studio today, and it so happens that you had your earnings out today as well. How are things going over at Aleafia? And for those who may not be too aware of what you've been doing recently, give us a little update of what you're up to.
Yeah, so things are going great. We had our earnings out today, as some of you may or may not know. 36% sequential growth, phenomenal. Exciting time for us. We had a great quarter, did a lot of stuff in the quarter, did a deal with the CVE family, concluded the purchase of our greenhouse. Nice. Well on its way on the retrofit. Did a deal with Canada Pacific in Australia, and just continue to grow our patient base.
Oh, good. Yeah, we've got the news release up in front of me here, and one of the elements I saw, like you said, you were up 36%. Was that quarter over quarter? I believe it's
sequentially quarter over quarter.
Correct. Sitting around 1.6 million and 3 million over the 9 months, and I think you recently just got your sales license, correct?
Yeah, so we did, and which was another milestone for us as well, as we sold our first, had our first cannabis sale right in the same quarter. Nice. So super excited. A lot of great stuff happening. We're working really hard.
And in this quarter, how much is recognized with your sales license? I don't think it was the full quarter, correct?
So it was about 500,000 in the quarter in cannabis sales.
Gotcha. So now you're entering your first quarter now, or probably been in it for a little bit now, of sales license and now recreation as well.
Correct. So 2019 will be our first year where we will be at a 98,000 kilogram clip by the end of the year.
Nice.
So 2020 is going to be a great year for us too.
Yeah, and it's interesting. A lot of the people I'm talking to recently are, 2018 is great, legalization came, that's great, but everyone's looking towards 2019, 2020. I think that's when we're really going to see the divergence. What companies were doing their job over the last year or two, some of them longer if they've been around longer, but who's been doing their job properly and who's just been making news releases. I think we're going to see that next year, and especially the year after.
Time to put up or shut up, right?
Exactly.
We've, part of our business now is we've actually got the local authorities in Port Perry and conservation authorities as well to give us the okay to go with our outdoor grow, which is going to be phenomenal for us. It's on 30 acres in Port Perry, where we have a small 7,000 square foot indoor hydro facility. But the 30 acres is going to generate about 60,000 kgs of high quality, super low cost cannabis. So we're super excited about that, and I think we're one of the first that are out there doing it, and we're shovels ready for April, March, April, spring of 2019.
Yeah, and you don't hear too many companies. I know a few people had it in their investor presentations over the while, and you hear a couple announcements, but really no one's, there's not that many people who've really jumped on the outdoor grow yet. I wonder what that is. If it's harder to do, if they're, I don't know.
I think the biggest thing is that your first movers that had first mover advantage, your Auroras, Canopies, etc., Aleafias, and they invested heavily in greenhouses, right? So as second mover advantage, which we really think we have, is a great opportunity to learn from the mistakes that they made and ultimately move towards lower cost opportunities. So right now it's not as big of an issue because, hey, I got to tell you, prices, there's a shortage of supply in the system today, so you get premium no matter what. But at some point, you're going to be really recognized, and you'll benefit from lower cost opportunities, which is exactly what we're doing with the outdoor grow in Port Perry.
Absolutely. And do you have any ballparks of what you might be growing at, or are you guys going to throw it out just yet of what the outdoor is going to cost you, like per gram or per pound?
We've got some ideas, and we'll be in the low cents for sure, and but I'm leaving that up to Lucas Escott, who's our top cultivationist. Yeah. Lucas is probably one of the best cultivationists in the business, as you may know or may not know. He's been doing it for years. He's proven. He's had several facilities that he's brought on board. Founder of Metrum, sold to Canopy for over $400 million. So we're super excited. We got him on our team.
Gotcha. I didn't know that connection, actually. I didn't know Metrum and you guys were there. So it's always nice to find somebody who obviously understands growing, because I think again, we made a point about, I think 2019 and 20 are going to be years where we really start seeing who was actually getting their act together and who wasn't. I think we're also about to see, we're already seeing it now, for some of these reviews coming from the Ontario store and things like that, who had a grower who can actually grow. It's one thing to grow 10 plants. It's a whole other if you're trying to do a full facility or outdoor grow as well. So having a proven person, that's interesting.
Yeah, and we're lucky to have Lucas and the team that he brings on board. And it's a proven track record. So we're super excited, with our 160,000 square foot facility, our Dutch hybrid greenhouse in Grimsby as well. That's going to come online, and we'll be harvesting in the spring there. So combined, we're going to be about 96,000 kilograms of great quality cannabis that we're going to be able to sell to our 50,000 plus patients. We're super excited.
Fantastic. And where are you selling right now for like provincial agreements or plans of going abroad? What's a breakdown of where you are going to be pushing this product?
So we've done a great job at diversifying our business. So we've got a couple things. We've got a 15,000 kilogram wholesale agreement with CanTrust, who's really been helping us throughout our early stages of our business. They've been great, helping us with genetics, and now with this agreement to purchase our cannabis, number one. Number two, we did a phenomenal deal with the Sequential family. That took a little longer than usual, than what we wanted to get done, but we got it done, and a big part of that was because we had regulatory issues with the province, did not know what percent ownership we could have in terms of the adult use part of our business. But the one thing that really comes out of that relationship that's better, that really I hope, and I'm going to do a great job at trying to communicate to everyone, is that we have got 5 of the top 10 brands through the Sequential family and their holdings out of California. So we're going to have these great brands coming out of California that we're going to manufacture, we're going to grow, manufacture, process, market, and sell not only here in Canada but internationally as well. And the last part of it too, the other part of our revenue stream as well is, some of you may have heard we did a great an investment with Canada Pacific in Australia.
Yep.
And they're the number 2 licensed cultivator. They've got the number 2 license for cultivation in Australia, and they're really leaning in hard on us to help provide expertise, IP, our platform, which is going to be great in terms of managing patients and data. So we're super excited about that as a revenue stream as well.
Very nice, very nice.
Yeah.
And going to the to your news release from earlier, one of the things we were talking about just as we sat down is that you have different divisions actually, and you've broken your revenue and operating income between these different divisions. So you've got the health and wellness division, the farms and products division, and I believe the other one was the adult rec division.
Adult use, correct.
And what are the difference between these, between like the farms and products compared to like the health and wellness?
So as our business matures and as a person that really focuses on execution, I really want to set the business up so that we can measure, because if you can't measure, you're not fixing it. So we broke it up into the 3 divisions there, so we really could dial in on where the successes of the business are and where are some of the areas that we need to improve on. So if you look at the farms, that's pure cultivation, right? So that's going to be what we're growing, what we're harvesting, and what we're selling either to ourselves in the form of our patients, and or on a wholesale basis to CanTrust as an example, or overseas to Canada Pacific and some of the other relationships. In terms of the health and wellness, there's actually 3 opportunities there. So we generate revenue there from provincial governments in the form of fees for attending to patients. As an example, here in Ontario, we get an OHIP fee, right? Number 2 is we've got a thesis study going on with Kronos right now. So we use the data that we have, and there's 10 million parts of data there that we're using on a sleep study with Kronos that's going to come out shortly. That's going to prove itself theoretically and probably get moved into a clinical study. Nice. And then the last one is the referral program we have right now with our LPs, with our patients that we're referring, and we're getting about a 20% fee on that, which ultimately, when we finally start growing and selling directly to our patients, we'll get 100% of those dollars, right? Yeah. And then the last one is going back to the Sequential relationship on the adult use. So not just the retail stores, which we're committed to 20 right now in Ontario, but we're also looking to expand that across Canada and probably get into a bigger number than that. But then ultimately, the one that we're really excited about is the brands that we get out of California from the Surya, from Aaron Surya and his brothers on licensing and distributing, growing, processing, and selling those brands.
Absolutely. That's a really good breakdown, actually, for those who didn't know about you, what you're doing, what you're up to. Why don't we quickly switch gears to the stock itself? Yep. We're facing a red day again today. It's been all over the place with cannabis companies, but a sign that we've seen recently is earnings come out and then going red afterwards. You guys weren't too red earlier today, but it was the same theme. Earnings come out and red after. What do you think that theme's for yourself, but also for the sector?
And if you look at, I look at it as broadly speaking, because I look at the broad markets as well. And I think, generally speaking, there's a pause right now. I think the retail investor is just a little fatigued right now. Everybody's feeling it. Whether you're a top three or bottom three, everybody's feeling it. And I think it's really going to boil down to fundamentals, and who has the best fundamentals wins, right? And I got to tell you, we're setting ourselves up to be one of the winners. It's just a matter of time before that red turns green, and we think we're going to position ourselves well. We're focused on an uplisting right now in the NASDAQ, yes. And what that does for us is give our shareholders give us, Aleafia and our stock, the opportunity to have hundreds of thousands of shareholders, which will give us the liquidity that we need to create a gold standard stock that's going to help us down the road in, whether it's through M&A acquisition and or whatever. But we really think that the NASDAQ's going to give us that liquidity that we need, or we feel is going to help our stock continue to turn green.
Yeah, and I couldn't agree with you more when it comes to the actual sentiment of North American markets in general. If you look at the indices, they're hurting. Yeah. And even when they do have a good day, I can't remember the last time I've seen two really good days back to back with one another. It's just one of those times. It's like you said, there's tax law season, it's getting close to Christmas, legalization just passed. So really, I think it's important that if you're an investor and you're listening to this, you should be looking for companies that you believe, okay, here's where they are today, here's their valuation, here's what they're about to be doing. You want to see the growth of the company, but you also want to see the opportunity for growth in your investment as well. And you're saying unequivocally from yourself that you believe Aleafia has that formula.
Well, we're positioning ourselves, no doubt, for success. Long term, we're fully funded. We've got a strong balance sheet. We don't need any cash. We're going to start generating tons of cash next year. We've got patients that we can sell into, premium cannabis at premium prices. So we're super excited as to what the future lies, what brings for Aleafia. And, we're just focusing on execution. We're not out here just dropping press releases. We're out here actually executing. And there's a lot of work ahead of us, but I can tell you the team comes in every day. We give 120%. We throw nickels around like manhole covers. And we're just super excited, and we think that the market's going to continue to recognize us. So I've been here since June. July 3rd was my first day. I focused on building a world-class team with some real world-class assets. And I think we're well on our way there. And I think that when I got involved in the business, we were at 50 cents. We hit a high of 4.70, and we're kind of sitting around $2 right now. And we're getting ready for the consolidation, the next leg up. And I think that the NASDAQ and some of these assets that we talked about, and ultimately, it's going to boil down to execution in 2019. We feel very strongly about it.
Absolutely. Well, I appreciate you coming down to the studio and give us a little bit of your time. For those who are curious, ALEF, you can find it, I believe, on the TSX Venture.
Correct.
On the TSX Venture, go check them out. And I appreciate you being on the show, and good luck with everything going into the end of the 2018, but also to start off 2019 very soon.
Yeah, thank you. Let's hope for some green days and green weeks and green months.
There we go. Take care now.
Thank you.